so this is our top of the block, really, Riesling, isn't it? We're at the foot of Peggy's Hill here, out in the middle of halfway between Mount Mackenzie and Cainton.
That's right.
So how old are your vines here, Trev?
These vines were planted 1896 to our knowledge. So that makes them 125 years old now.
Makes them basically one of the oldest Rieslings in Australia.
Yeah, it could be.
It also means they're on their own roots.
Yes.
It also means that that there's every chance that they go straight back to that viticultural treasure trove that James Busby brought into the country in 1833. Right. So we're talking old timers here.
Yeah.
So let's show the folks the Riesling bunch,
because a Riesling bunch should look like.
Yeah, because they're quite classic. They look like a heart, like a proper little heart with a general bunch shape and then that lobe at the top. The beautiful thing about Riesling is that they've got such a lovely even small berry bunch, and the thing about Riesling that makes it taste like Riesling are these things called terpenes, and that gives it that lovely lemon lime lift. But the bunch looks almost like a heart.
Yes. And
that's a beauty, because that's got a little lobe at the top, and that's your bunch shape there. And see how it's a lovely even arrangement of even sized berries. That really, because your surface area to volume is your flavour, right? And this is the beautiful thing that is typical of Riesling. These little freckles on the berries.
Yes, look at
those little freckles. They're called lenticels, and that is your classic Riesling bunch. Looks like a bit of a heart with the lobe up the top there.
Yeah.
Beautiful arrangement of berries, very even distribution, and those lovely lenticels that say, this is Riesling. The other thing too is that you've got lovely dispersal of the fruit, and all my mates that are whiz-bang winemakers always say that you roughly want 2 leaf layers between the fruit and the sun, and that's what we've got here, roughly 2 leaf layers. So that gives you a really nice gentle ripening season, but you can see by these trunks up here in the Eden Valley, these trunks, these are quite narrow. Like if you had 126-year-old bush vines on the valley floor, massive. Yeah, they'd be like tree trunks. That's some old gnarly timber there.
Look at that one. Yeah. Beautiful.
But you wouldn't think that would be underneath such lovely foliage this year. So we've got a really tremendous opportunity this afternoon to just sit here and have a look and see how these Rieslings are travelling. Thanks a million for that. Straight away the 18 is already starting to show a little bit of movement on the nose, a little bit towards that age characteristic of sort of Rose's Lime Marmalade. Still fresh though, and also still lifted. Nice volume of aromatics. The 19, not so much. Still very much citrusy lift, yeah. Citrusy lift, yeah. And that's pretty.
That's just a
that is really. It's almost got floral blossom over the top of the citrus there. That is a really pretty lift, that one. Okay. Yeah. So with that 18, let's just see if the palate chases the nose. So there, it's started to soften out a little bit, but it's still got that really tart acid rail. That's actually travelling quite nicely. That's the 2018. The 19 is a fair bit fresher on the nose. Not really moving just yet. Holding its own very nicely actually. See, now that's got that explosive granularly snap, crackle and pop on the palate, because we're not looking at these frosty cold either.
No.
No. If you were going to be doing peel and eat prawns or calamari or chili squid or whatever, they'd be frosty. They'd be frosty.
They'd be sitting, I reckon, around about that 14, 15 degrees.
But that's still got that lovely citrus expression on the nose, but holding well because that's already 2 years old.
That's right.
So the 20, yeah,
21.
it has got the really pretty floral blossom lift. Actually, it's got a really concentrated core lift too. There's a lot of aromatics there. Actually, I hazard a guess, and it's almost got a little bit of honey, floral, blossom, citrus thing going on. And tasting the fruit just now in the vineyard, the skins have started to soften. It's got a little bit of that lemon-lime combo going on. You know, it's a pretty piece of work.
You see why.
That's got that lemon squeezy zest thing right through the spine of the palate. There's a nice bit of length there too. I think that's actually a very, very smart piece of work. It's good that they're all at exactly the same temperature because straight away
I love that.
there's a slippery lemon. You know when you run your thumb over citrus and you get the oil? There's a citrusy lemon oil zest underneath each one. That's a little vein
coming through
that runs through, yeah. And even though the 2018 is starting to show a little bit of that marmalade development, that fresh citrusy lemony oil zest spine underneath is going to keep it neat and tidy. And that's what goes really well with the seafood as well. All right, well, let's have a look at the old timer. Let's have a look at the 2010. So now let's have a look at 10 years development in the glass. So 2010 is the first time that you put Riesling in the bottle, yeah, from this old vineyard. Okie doke. And we've got the opportunity to look at a 10-year split, which is always really interesting. So straight up, as soon as it hits the glass, you can see straight away that there is a certain amount of development there because you've started to move to those green-yellow lights. The nice thing is, when you look at older white wines, as soon as it starts getting the golden or tawny sort of, not even the browns, it's like a golden yellow, you can see that there's been some serious movement. But this has got that really almost bright lime green on the edges where the wine meets the glass. So you know that even though it's moving in a very tidy fashion. So before we even stick our nose in the glass, we know that it's moving but in a nice tidy fashion. Okay, so it's starting to really scoot along that develop, but it's really interesting because it's very neat and tidy. There's no, when a white wine gets older, and starts to show its age, it tends to collapse. You don't tend to get that column, very tidy column of core lift. It tends to be quite a broad, fluffy cloud of aromatics of sorts. This is still really quite a solid core lift of aromatics. This is really starting to get along that buttery toast, roses, lime, marmalade thing. But yeah, it's almost like a, you know when you make lemon or lime jelly and you heat it up and you get that really quite warm citrus smell in the kitchen. It's got that. It's citrus oil. That's what it is. That's really tidy. Let's see if it carries on.
Maybe it carries through that. That's right. Does it carry through?
That's in very good shape. Very neat and tidy. See how it's got that, still got that really lovely lemony zest on the palate? That's in really good shape and really quite solid citrus carry. It's quite consistent. And if you move straight through to the 20, that almost honey blossom thing, that's on the nose as well. It's the vineyard, I think. 10 years apart, you'd be fairly safe to say that's the vineyard. See, that's got a very tidy palate, but it's not nearly as lemon squeezy, acid explosive, electric snap crackle and poplar as the 10. You know, it's pretty, but this is a bit out of the box. Happy days.
Cheers.
Yeah.